Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I realize that I am here super early this morning, but that's okay. We're going to get started. We're going to dive in and we are going to make it happen. Now, let's dive into the goddess realm. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Grab your water. Let's chug a lug. Hit like when you're done. I, for the life of me, for the last few weeks, cannot sleep past like 5:30, 6 a.m. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed. So we're just going to roll with it. I was up and at 'em this morning, so we're going to ride out. Yes, Drea, we are early today. She says, early today, surprised I'm up. Got to get my coffee, and I will be right back. Grab some water while you're at it, girl, and chug-a-lug that coffee. And in real talk, get some coffee for me, too. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. Dear God, thank you so much for all your guidance, your direction from our goddesses, our guides, our angels, our fairies. Thank you so much for directing our messages. We ask that you continue to guide and direct them and make them clear and concise so that we understand exactly what it is that you want us to do for our lives and how we need to go about it. We also ask that anyone who sees this may be blessed by it, and all these many blessings we ask in unconditional love. Amen. So I am so glad to have you this morning. Good morning, Javon. I'm so glad that you were able to catch us today. So yeah, we're gonna experiment and see how this time frame works. What time is it, by the way? It's wow, it's before 8 o'clock. That kind of impressed myself on that one. But real talk, guys, I just have a ton of stuff I got to get done today. So I figured since I was up, let's just go ahead and get going. All right, so let's dive in. I'm really just staring at my cards here. And I was doing my meditation right before we got started. And I think what we'll do is I'm going to continue with these fairy cards. Yeah, we're going to play with our fairies today. Our messages have been really kind of a little more deeper lately, a little more intense, and talking more so about making sure that we're healing old hurts and old pains, and that we are incorporating and we're balancing our divine masculine with our divine feminine. And again, to remember that balance doesn't always mean equal, but that we're balancing the two so that they're not operating separate from each other, but that they're coming together. One thing that I mentioned yesterday is that all throughout nature, masculine and feminine come together to create life. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to balance the masculine within us and the feminine within us and create the life and lifestyle that we want and deserve. Said, hey, I have to go to work in a few. No worries. Feel free to tune back in when you can. Otherwise, oh, there's our first card. We're going to keep rolling, and we'll be here. Oh, there's our second card. I don't know if you guys are seeing these. They're literally flying out of the deck. Are we getting any more cards today, fairies? One more. I think we're going to get one more card, guys. One more card. Thank you, fairies. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. So we actually got more than one more card. We got 3 cards. Are they in this order? Okay. That order. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now this is interesting. I've never gotten this card. Marriage. The fairies join you in celebrating wedded bliss. Marriage. The fairies join you in celebrating wedded bliss. Now, this just blows my mind. Considering the fact that I just got finished saying that all throughout nature, masculine and feminine come together to create life. And that right now, the biggest message that we're getting is to heal that divine masculine and to integrate it with our divine feminine. This is how we start to balance out our lives. You know how sometimes life seems real topsy-turvy, or it's extreme highs and extreme lows, or maybe even sometimes it just feels disconnected and it's just a dull, like, no blip on the screen type of situation. This is that reviving. I almost said reviveration. I'm like, I don't think that's a word. But this is the reviving of that life. Drea says, so Saturday, I think it was Saturday, we got the change of career card. Went into work that night to find out that they are going to start changing things to help our commissions. Oh my God, thank God. I work at Family Video. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. This is amazing. This is so amazing. And in addition to that, with it helping your commissions, I mean, that's not only going to help your household, taking care of your household, but even investing in yourself and furthering your cosmetics business as well. Drea, psh, high five, girl. That is so amazing. So this is awesome because we are just getting some clear and concise messages here. And again, marriage, for some person, that may actually be, here comes the bride, type of situation. But ultimately, what I really feel that this believes is this, or that this represents, is a merging of ourself, where we're no longer feeling disconnected with other parts of ourselves. One of the groups that I work with, a small group coaching group that I work with, one of the things we've been talking about this week in particular so far is about that mind-body connection. How oftentimes, we're disconnected from our bodies, and we know that we are because all of a sudden out of nowhere, we're like, ooh, where did that pain come from? Ooh, where did that, my knees started creaking out of nowhere. Well, if we were really in tune with our bodies, we would have realized that our bodies were giving us signs way beforehand. So really, not only is it being in tune with our bodies, but attuning our bodies to our minds as well. Our bodies being in connection with our minds, and our minds being in connection with our bodies, because the two feed each other. So really in this, what I see is a merging of self, a merging of identities, so to speak. I use this example quite a bit, but there are some times where we want to be this person, but we feel like we're stuck here, but we know we're capable of this. This is now that merging of those two people. This is as we go in and we do the deep work, we begin to heal any old wounds. We let go of the anger, the ego, or the negative aspects of ego in terms of anger, fear, resentment, insecurity, what have you. We let go of those things. And as those things let go, we begin to heal our ego, our divine masculine, and it integrates, it marries with our divine feminine. Drea says, oh, and the same day I was approached by another gal in my industry that works with a company that sells gel nail polish. Nice. Anyway, it was the timing that got me. A year ago, oops, I had thought about going back to school for nail art. The timing, right? Oh my gosh, Drea. Oh, hold on. Rub in the goosebumps real quick. That is so amazing. That is so amazing. Like instantly my armpits started sweating, like out of excitement. Don't worry, I'm clean. But that is so awesome. That is so awesome. And the guys, one of the things about it is look at the things around you. Drea could have easily dismissed both of these things, but both of these are confirmations that her world is changing, that it's improving for the better, that she's stepping into a place to be able to manifest and create and manifest her desires. And that in doing so, she's fully supported by the universe in her life purpose. That is just so freaking amazing. That gets me pumped up this morning. Oh wow, guys. Okay, check this out. Our next card. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. Now y'all saw these cards jump out, right? It literally just said, phew. You finished one part of your life and now an even better part is beginning. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You have finished one part of your life and a new, even better part of your life is beginning. I mean, I don't really know how else to interpret that. That's just freaking amazing. And this just goes to confirm, this just serves every message that we've been getting over or since the full moon. And a little bit before the full moon in particular. But goodbye to the old, hello to the new. We're shedding those old identities that don't serve us. We're shedding those old thoughts, those old feelings, those old stagnant things that don't propel us forward. Dre says, I love this fairy card. Me too. But new, it says you have finished. You finished up one part of your life and a new and even better part is beginning. So pay attention to the things that come to you, to the opportunities that are being presented to you. Last week we got told over and over and over that new opportunities are coming, new opportunities are coming, new opportunities are coming. Pay attention to them. And again, as we let go of the bad in terms of, the fear, the doubt, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the resentment, As we let go of those things, we also have to start shedding those parts of our identity. It's one thing to say, I'm no longer going to be fearful of putting my voice into the world. It's something else to shed that part of your identity that maybe feels like your voice won't be heard, right? We have to also, when I say that, I want to say, we need to let go of our preconceptions of how things may look. For example, Dre had thought about a year ago going into maybe doing some being a nail tech or doing nail art, what have you, and maybe the idea was fleeting, maybe it was a serious thought, but at any rate, here a year later, someone approaches her about gel polish. So what I say that to say is, if Drea had her mind focused that it's only going to happen like this, and then this person approaches her about the gel polish, she could have totally missed this opportunity because she was so focused on it has to happen like this. And so what I'm saying to you is be open to new ideas. And I think we got that card yesterday. Be open to new ideas that come, because those new ideas are going to ultimately support what it is that you want. This may be something that she wasn't entirely thinking about or was looking in a different direction, but because she's open to the new idea, here is a potential opportunity. Now, maybe this opportunity pans out, maybe it doesn't, but at any rate, this opportunity is going to either be the opportunity for her, or it's going to present the opportunity through the opportunity. Does that make sense? It's going to be the doorway, or it's going to be the actual it. But either way, it is an opportunity, and she was attuned enough to pay attention and to notice it and to heed it. So that alone is freaking amazing. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. These ideas that are coming back to you. Man, I thought about this a year ago. I tried this a couple of years ago. Don't worry about whether it worked or it didn't work in the past. It doesn't matter. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You have finished that part of your life, and a new, even better part of your life is beginning. Okay, let's keep going, because you know me, I'll get caught up. Y'all, this card, wow. Debt paid off. The old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. The old weight and habit of debt, and I actually don't think I said that on accident. The old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. And, Drea says, yeah, focus on the activity, not the results. Exactly. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, and the results just come. So, a couple of things with this. I think that part of this, in our new way of being, as we release those feelings of lack, those feelings of fear, those feelings of insecurity, we physically get some influx of abundance, a physical abundance in our world, meaning I do think that for a lot of us, debt is being paid off. Now, on the spiritual side, or the flip side of it, as we begin to become more heart-centered, as we begin to shed those old feelings of lack, fear, insecurity, what have you, resentment, anger, frustration, the karmic debt is also paid off, right? Because again, when what we send out is what we attract back. So even if we don't realize that we're being egotistical in the sense of we're walking around with a lack mindset or a fear mindset or an anger mindset, or we're judging other people, we're creating karmic debt. As we begin to shed and let those things go, and we begin to heal our hearts, and we forgive ourselves, and we love ourselves enough to recognize compassion within ourselves, we then are now able to begin to see compassion in the world, and we begin to pay off that karmic debt. So all that bad, evil shit we put in the world is being paid off, right? So I say all that to say, sometimes there are situations in my life, and I'll just speak personally, because I don't want to put this on anybody, where I have maybe done things in my life, and when a good opportunity came later, I almost pretty much sabotaged it or ignored it, because I was like, A, I'm not good enough for this, or B, I've messed up so many times that, there's no way that this is going to work out. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I didn't deserve it. So I say all that to say that if someone is carrying those feelings of guilt, or those feelings of, yeah, I'm good from here out, but what about all the bullshit I did in the past? Doesn't matter. Let it go. The debt's being paid off. You are paying off the debt. It's not even like somebody's doing it for you. Remember that picture, that prosperity picture from our Archangel deck with the cornucopia of gold from heaven? Your debt is being paid off. The weight and burden of debt. Let's see, the old weight and habit of debt is being lifted from you and your life. Because let's face it, when we're in that broke mindset or that debt mindset or that lack mindset, it is a habit. So even if somebody has that lack mindset and they go get a big influx of cash, they're still going to be broke because they're going to make broke decisions and do broke things out of that broke habit, that broke way of thinking. So not only are you changing and you're shedding and you're letting go of those things that aren't serving you, but the new habit, the new thoughts, the new activities, Diana, the unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions, those are changing towards the positive. So that weight has been lifted off your life. And here's the thing of it. I don't want you to go away thinking, okay, though the debt is going to be lifted. I want you to, from here on out, this is your confirmation. The debt has been lifted. Done. Period. Point blank. In a discussion. The debt's been lifted. All right, let's move on to our new card. Our next card. Now this is interesting. We keep getting these cards. Children. Your connection with children is a part of your life's purpose. Your connection with children is a part of your life's purpose. Oh, and I just saw something pop up real quick. Drea says, this is why I no longer say if I ever. I say when this happens. Yep. You and me both. You and me both. And even still, my husband, it took him a while to get used to it, but I'll even talk as if things are already done. Thank you for my new house. Like, he's looking at me like, babe, we haven't moved yet. What are you talking about? Like, psh, I don't care, we haven't moved. It's done. Thank you for in advance. And when we start to show that gratitude in advance, and again, the more we show gratitude, the more we bring things about to be grateful for. So, Drea, you are absolutely right. To say if I ever, you just literally told the universe, hey, sometime way in the future, maybe. And the universe goes, we've all seen The Secret, right? The universe goes, your wish is my command. And it keeps that in the future, right? But when we start to act and think and speak and believe that it's completed, that it's happening now, that it is coming forth, every day I grow stronger in my body, or every day, you know, I build a stronger business. Whatever it is, even if it's tiny, minuscule steps, those minuscule steps equal huge results. But we're taking that, like Drea said, we're taking the action now. We're being action oriented. So in relation to this children card, your connection with children is a part of your life's purpose. And again, I think that is just very straightforward. Connection to children obviously is part of your life's purpose. But I think also in the other sense that we got that Archangel card, I think yesterday, day before maybe, where it was like teaching and learning, right? As we are learning things, we are to be teaching. So whether these are actual, you know, minors under 18, or these are people who are just less spiritually mature, less financially mature, less business educated mature, what have you, people who are not quite as far along in their path. Your life's purpose involves working with them. If you feel drawn towards children, that's what your life purpose is for. Now, what's interesting is I keep getting, there's a card in our Archangels deck. Let me pop out at me. And it's about indigo children. And I keep getting this in my personal reading. And I'm like, okay, God, what are you telling me? Like, are these my children? Or are these somebody else's children? I'm looking for it. Now, on the flip side of the coin, I'm also reminded that some of you have been being led and guided to nurture your inner child. So this may apply in that sense as well. Here it is, Indigo and Crystal Children, Archangel Metatron. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. So I think some of that ties in, because as we delve more into a spirit-based or heart-based existence, we're operating out of our hearts instead of our heads now. There are a lot of high vibrating babies on this earth right now. Y'all see them. These are the kids who like start crying because the environment is going bad. These are the kids who like don't understand why we eat meat because it kills the animals. Like, these aren't just like, you know, hey mommy, I don't get it. You see these really incredibly sensitive children These are your indigo children, your magenta children, your crystal children. These are your high vibrate. These are the babies who are going to be healing the earth. These are your eclectic thinkers where you're like, I didn't even think like that till I was 20, and you're bringing this to me at 10. Like, what the heck? These are also going to be your kids who are like your prodigies, where somebody put a violin in his hand at the age of 2, and all of a sudden he's 5 and he's giving like whole concerto, concerts or what have you. You're doing whole concertos. So really understanding that you're being called to work with children, or we are being called to work with children. We are being called to work with those who aren't as far along as we are, to help those who are maybe more sensitive, to help to nurture them, whether that be our inner child, your own children, or somebody else's children. Drea says, holy crap, reading this today. Children, that post last night from a friend was about how being a parent is hard, and how we are gifted the children we need in our lives, no matter how they come to us. Just wow. That is a fact. I fully, wholeheartedly, 8,000%, and then some agree with you, Drea. You are so right about that. We are gifted the children we need in our lives, no matter how they come to us. Do I talk? Not now. Okay. So I was going to talk a little bit about soul families and how we come into certain families. So I think that'll be a topic for another day. But you're right. The children who come to us are exactly what we need, and we're exactly who they need. And it wasn't by accident either. It wasn't by accident. Whew. All right. So our next card, and we've gotten this card a few times. I think we got this last week as well. Travel. An upcoming trip proves to be life-changing in positive ways. An upcoming trip proves to be life-changing in positive ways. So again, I think this is twofold. I think obviously it's summertime, or it's practically summer, and we're moving into vacation season. So I do think that for some people, this is going to be an actual physical, I'm going on a trip, and it's going to prove to be a life-changing experience. Now, for some others of us, I think that this life-changing trip is going to be within. It's going to be a life-changing trip. And one of the things that really stands out to me about this card in particular, and I just want to check on my phone to make sure you can see it okay. Okay, that really stands out to me in particular is that, look at this. She is lighting the path, right? She's lighting the antlers, so to speak. She's divinely guided. She's lighting her own path, right? Through her. And the other thing that I really notice about this card, and again, I'm sorry, I'm staring at my phone because I want to make sure y'all can see it okay if you're on your phones, is notice around her head, the light around her head, it's clearly not the sun. Like, what I get from that is that she is taking the knowledge, her own divine knowledge, and she's using that to light her path. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense. She's using her own divine guidance, her own divine knowledge. And the reason why I'm saying divine knowledge is because typically when it's heart-based, you'll see in the cards something illuminating around the heart, but her head is lit up, right? So whatever it is she's she's trusting her intuition, right? That's really the word, her divinely guided intuition. And wherever that trip is taking her, whether it be on a new journey with gel polish, whether it be in having some more babies, whether in working with indigo children, whether that be actually going to Cancun and laying on the beach, what have you, whatever it is, she is following her divinely guided intuition. And the biggest thing that I really take from this card is fear not, your path is illuminated. Fear not, your path is illuminated. Because sometimes we're like, okay, like I just sat down and I spoke with my husband yesterday, and I've been wanting to talk to him about it, but I wasn't really sure how to bring it up, and I'm not even really sure that I even still communicated what I was trying to get across. But I feel that my life is moving in a different direction. Like I'm on this journey, right? I'm on this path. I'm traveling somewhere. I know that everything is safe and secure and it's taken care of, but I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what is at the end of this path, or for that matter, what's along the way. I just know that if I stay and I follow my divinely guided intuition, as I take each step, it illuminates more and more and more. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense. So Drea says, I have always believed I was gifted my children because of my diseases and my indigo traits. Yep. Okay, good. You can see the card fine. I definitely appreciate that. I can totally appreciate that. And there in like you said, there was a reason why your babies came to you. They didn't go to anybody else. Why their souls incarnated in their bodies that came to you and for their mother. So that is just absolutely amazing. It's so amazing because it's kind of like as you grow and nurture yourself, you know, you can grow and you can nurture these babies, your babies, and it's one of those like I know I'm not a mom, so I can only assume, but as a parent, you know, your goal obviously is to try and teach your children and hopefully to help them avoid some of the hard knocks and the heartaches you know that we went through coming up. And I think what is so amazing about this, especially with our generation, Drea, is that, you know, it's not, there were, I'm sure there were absolutely, you know, high vibrating babies and children and what have you. I know that there were in older generations. But as the Earth's vibration shifts, we are kind of like in that in between generation where we still reside in that old masculine way of thinking that rules the Earth right now. But we are also here and we're young enough to really feel and take advantage. We're not set in our old ways to really start to integrate that divine feminine, right? And so we are in a position where we can kind of see from both sides. We can see from our masculine way of thinking, but we can intuit from our feminine way of thinking as well. And for those new babies who are being born onto this earth, and oh my God, I want to talk about this so bad, but I don't think that the time is not right. I think that'll have to be its own special video. But the all the babies, and there is an influx of souls being incarnated on this earth right now. Huge, huge, huge. Just look at, I'll just say this and then I have to stop. I'm being told to shut up. Just look at population growths. So I say all this to say there is a huge influx of souls being incarnated on this earth right now. And these are high vibrating babies. these are the kids who are probably, if not this generation, the generation right after them that are gonna solve world hunger. You know, who are gonna solve like global war and what have you, who are gonna solve the national debt crisis or what have you. Like, these are the kids who are coming in with that strong feminine energy and they're beginning to counterbalance. And we're learning a lot from them, but they need guidance and support and direction from us as well. Drea says, you know, that is why Gen X is the forgotten generation, because of the energy shifts. Pretty much. But we're in such an amazing position that we can see from both sides, and we can remember the ways of the past, and we can take the good from that and help to create and guide and direct this new generation to create new ways of the new. And, you know, obviously we don't want to be an extreme masculine society, but we don't want to be an extreme feminine society as well. We need to come together with this marriage of our masculine and feminine selves, you know, here on this earth, and balance. And that's really what I think a lot of these children are going to help to do. So just as a quick recap, Drea, I don't know if it's so much because of the energy shifts as much as it is I'm picking my words. Because in a very masculine dominated society, I think that I don't know that it's so much even just the energy shifts as much as it's the change in technology period. You know, our parents, when they were, you know, 10, 15 years old, 10, 12, 15, they probably wouldn't have imagined, you know, being on Facebook and you being 1,000 miles away. You're in Altoona, I'm in Katy, Texas, and we're communicating live. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think with the advent of technology, obviously that does change some shift in energy, but our biggest energy shift wasn't until 2012. And, you know, most of us were, what, adults by then? In our 20s by then? That was just 5 years ago. I'm tripping. So yeah, we were adults by then. So I think a lot of it is more so with the advent of technology. that masculine way of thinking was really that work hard, work hard, work hard, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Whereas with the advent of technology, it's allowed for more of that fluid feminine energy, in the sense of, I don't necessarily have to go to school to get a good education to create a good job for myself, right? I mean, some of the greatest, I think I read somewhere, I saw somewhere that the average millionaire has like a 2.9 GPA, because they find that your valedictorians rarely go on to be millionaires. And it's nothing against a valedictorian, but your valedictorians tend to be very, these are the set rules, I go by the book, I don't deviate. Your free flower, your people who are allowed now to kind of be more fluid, be more movement, like this. Normally, I don't, we could say this has to be done at 9 o'clock and I have to be at the office, but I get to do this from my home. I am working on some studio space, but that's another story. But it allows, and I can come on at any time at night I want or day I want, right? So I say all that to say that technology has allowed the movement of that feminine energy to come in, because we've got more flexibility in what we do. We don't have to be at the factory by 9 to crank out 20,000 units by 6 p.m. to have such and such done by 8 p.m. so that we can have the next shift come back in by 9 a.m. Does that make sense? Like, we've got so much more movement that it allows for that feminine energy to flow. She said, gotcha, I feel I can appreciate that. The computer has helped us, I think. The computer has helped us think outside of it. I agree with you. It's one of those, computer has definitely helped us think outside the box. It kind of amazes me, anytime I think of something I want to do, I laughed at myself. I'm like, why do you get all stressed out, Shrita? Just go to YouTube. Somebody's already created something or some kind of way for you to do it, So the cool part is, you're right, it's helped us think outside of the box, because we live in a world now of endless possibilities. We're only limited literally by our imagination. Think about our grandparents. I'm sitting here with a webcam in front of me. Think about when our grandparents, were 20 years old, and you were like, if somebody said, hey, go grab your laptop and open up your webcam and, we're going to Skype. They're like, no, I have to pick up the phone, and that's going to cost me long distance. That's the other thing. We don't even really pay long distance tolls that much anymore. 99.9% of us in America, we have cell phones, and that's even if you're, considered low income. Everybody got a cell phone, and it's got free long. So you're right. It's helped us think so much more out of the box. And then on the flip side of the coin, it's also, as much as it has raised creativity, it has also stifled it. And I think that's where we have to be careful, where our generation is so fortunate. We're blessed in the sense that we remember what it was like to go outside and to play. And, we see those little memes on Facebook. It was like, you knew where all your friends were at because it had everybody's bikes were in the front yard. I remember my mom always joking about, like, our house is the Kool-Aid house. Whenever the kids are tired and playing outside, then they come to my house and I feed them Kool-Aid or what have you. But on the flip side of the coin, our kids, they have so much amazing information that comes to them that sometimes I think a lot of kids get kind of trapped and stifled, and they don't know how to turn on that creative side, right? So it's kind of a catch-22. So I think that's the beautiful part about our generation and us even working and nurturing these children, because in doing so, again, we start to create that balance. We can help them start to create that balance of here's how we go in and we use our imagination and we build a fort, right? Remember how fun building forts were? Or, but also on the flip side of the coin, we can study from other children in China, at the drop of a dime or at the drop of a hat pin, or like in an instant at our fingertips. So I say all that to say we definitely want to I think it's a balance with kids, with these, especially these high vibrating babies coming in, to make sure that we're nourishing both their physical and their spiritual side. And I think that's why we are getting these messages, to really make sure that we're working and we're nurturing these children, because as we begin to balance ourselves, our feminine and our masculine, because let's face it, 98% of the world ain't talking about what we're talking about. And if they did try and jump in on this conversation, it would either A, go over their heads, B, they'd think we were total kooks, or C, they'd call us devil worshippers or something. You know what I'm saying? And I have to laugh because a few years ago I might have been one of them. That was like, that's some devil shit over there. Y'all need to move around with that. You know? So I think the biggest thing is, as we begin to balance our masculine and feminine, we're in the beautiful position to help these babies do the same, especially since they're coming into such high feminine vibration, that we can start to expose them to the masculine side and help them to learn to integrate it ahead of time, right? Gosh, it's like, why couldn't I have known this stuff when I was growing up? I guess it wasn't my time, right? So the big things for today I get from this, again, is the marriage of the masculine and the feminine, the two coming together and balancing. They're co-creators within life, right? And then again, goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You finished one part of your life, and now a new and even better part of your life is beginning. So the biggest thing with this is, as we let go of that old stuff, the new is coming in. The new is already here. And like you said, Drea, staying open to those opportunities and seeing them as they come. And then understanding that our debt is paid off. Not only, a financial debt, but our karmic debt as well. And so big thing, I think, in going a long way and going towards healing our divine masculine is also in how we think and how we perceive. So be open to the new ideas, be open to the new thoughts and the new energy that flows your way. And in doing so, understand that your path is illuminated. Follow your intuition. I think for someone who's going to see this, I don't necessarily think it's for someone who's watching right now, but for someone who's going to see this, you're having a hard time trusting yourself. And really, at the end of the day, that may be, just the other day we got Anya, a leap of faith. That might be your leap of faith, is to trust yourself. The answers are not outside of you. You already have them. Look, she's divinely lighting the path with her divine intuition. That's just amazing. She's in complete control of the situation. That is just amazing. Drea says, I still remember when video chatting really was futuristic idea. Now it's a commonplace. Yeah. I remember when I got my first, when Sprint first took over Nextel, they had this little blue flip phone. It was freaking amazing. And I remember the first time I could take a picture and send it to my husband. Oh, that was insane. On my cell phone. And then came the video, video, being able to send little clips and videos. And then now we have things like WhatsApp. And in WhatsApp, I've literally sent people 20-minute videos and they come out clear as day. They're amazing. I mean, the technology is insane. And then now we're starting to see where those really high-end companies, they use those virtual reality type, where your body is holographically beamed into their office, but really you're in LA and they're in Tokyo. Oh my God, this isn't just in the movies anymore. This is actual real life. It is so wild to think about, and it is so incredible, and it is so amazing. And I think that is why I'm most excited about where our readings are going, because with everything that we have at our fingertips, we can do anything. We can literally do anything. I don't care what it is that you're selling, what it is that you're offering, if it's arts and crafts out of your basement, if it's you're doing massage and you're doing out calls, or you're having people come to you, or you're doing coaching, or whatever the aspect may be. We have got the world at our fingertips. We have so many options that are available to us. And really the only thing that limits us is us. Drea says, right? My flip phone, I had 4 colors. Yep. Yes. I could change the screen too. That was it. But at the same time, the coolest I had ever seen. Hell yes. I totally remember those. And it's kind of crazy to think about what may come in the future. I mean, look at now, our Tesla automobiles, and then where it'll self-steer. I mean, we literally are living in the Jetsons age right now. The only thing we're not doing is, taking a little spaceship from office to office. But I mean, practically some people are. They're on the subway, underground. You know what I mean? They're on the light rail going from, I know, like DFW has a light rail which will take you, from the suburbs into downtown Dallas or into Fort Worth, There we're looking at, even in Europe, you can travel from country to country in a matter of hours on like the channel and what have you. So it's absolutely amazing. But the biggest thing is that we get to be a part of it. And I want to stress that we get to be a part of it. It's whether or not you actually choose to participate in that lifestyle. Jaya says, I'm still a little disappointed flying cars aren't more commonplace. Back to the Future lied to me. I know, right? They should have been here by now. But the fact is, we know that they are on their way. I'm with you too, Drea. Because sometimes I get in the car, I'm like, I don't want to actually like drive and pay attention. I want to sit down. Or like the movie iRobot, where like they get in the car and then they're, reading the magazine, and he's like, manual mode. Like, I want that option. And that car. But but really just knowing and understanding and thinking of ourselves as whole and complete. That's the biggest message I'm getting from today, especially with this marriage card. Just thinking of ourselves as whole and complete individuals. And the more that we do so, and the more and more that we start to integrate. And I want to be clear on this. Oftentimes, and I found this true, especially even in my own life, but in working with folks, usually the thing that is holding us up is the thing that we're avoiding is the very thing that will propel us forward. So as we start to integrate these sides of ourselves, integrate our creativity with our analytical mode, right? Integrate our fluid nature with our structure. As we integrate our divine feminine with our divine masculine, our intuition with our ego, as we integrate them and balance them, that we obviously are new beings, but our thought process really has to change. And give me a hot second. Something's telling me to stare at this. This is interesting. Let me think on this. Really what I'm noticing in this card, and let me switch it back so you can see. Really one of the things I'm noticing with this card in particular is the moon. I didn't realize there were like 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 other fairies in that picture. Let me see. Let's try and just really want to stare at that. So you've got the 2 down in the bottom right corner, and they look like they're dancing. There are, 5 more in the bottom left corner. There's another fairy above the unicorn. There's a fairy behind the man. And then there's like the band above them, the orchestra almost. Let's see if I can scoot in a little closer. Really one thing that's standing out to me, and I'm not really sure why, God, if you will give me some guidance on this. What's really standing out to me is the moon. They're under the stars, which isn't always traditional. Okay, got it. Okay, good, Dre. I'm glad you can see them. So here's what I just got from that. This is interesting. Okay. Shadow work is really what comes from that. That the marrying of the 2 may require you to go into your shadows. Let me pick my words. There's sometimes maybe aspects of our consciousness, our shadows, by the way, when I say shadows, I'm using some of these words interchangeably. The shadows would be the place where the fear, the anger, the resentment, the insecurity, that's where all those things reside within us. So, I'm sorry, I have to chuckle because I just came into the realization and understanding like very recently that I'm absolutely a shadow worker. which explains why I could never seem to call myself a light worker, because I'm a shadow worker. So really, what I'm getting from this is go into the shadows. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, to really get into that mindful thinking, get into meditation, and really understand what it is that is holding you back and why it's holding you back. And I don't know why I'm saying holding back. That just must, that's what's coming to my mind. So we're going to ride with that. I think that's going to be in particular to someone. Drea says, seriously, because I just had a thought about 10 minutes ago. I no longer feel the darkened paths I follow, for the light within me shines brightly away. Yep. And that's honestly, I'm glad you said that, Drea, because that's what I, like, thank you. It left my mind, and that's what I was working towards, is in particular, what I noticed with the moon, okay? So the moon doesn't necessarily have light of its own, right? The moon reflects the sun's light. And so what I'm seeing, what I want to say about this, and I'm thank you, because you just, thank you, girl, thank you. Really what comes to, what I want to say about this in particular is that when you go into the shadows, there might be some things, not necessarily you, Drea, but someone else who might watch this later on. There might be some things that who've been avoiding, or maybe you are nervous about approaching. Maybe there's some things in your mind that you just are accustomed to shutting out. And the biggest thing I want you to understand is in these shadows, you're not at all going to get lost or trapped or consumed by the shadow. Because remember, you're a new person. The old things have gone away. You're a new beginning. What did it say? Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You're in a position where you can handle it. But most importantly, this is, I think, why that moon is shining out at me in the top left corner. Because you're going to be able to see in your shadows. When you come, like Drea just said, she's illuminating with the light that is within her. So when you come and you approach your shadows now, because you're operating out of a place of love. So operating out of a place of love is a place of light. And so when you bring your love and light down into those shadows, you can shed light on them. And that's where that healing begins to take place. And that's where that marrying between the masculine and the feminine take place. That is boom, Drea. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for Drea. But that is exactly it. And Drea, like you said, you had the thoughts. I no longer fear the darkened paths. I follow the light within me, for it shines brightly. Yep. That is, I love how God works. I love how the universe works. I love how the energy flows, and how right on time was that. And guys, I want you to understand what she just said. I just had the thought about 10 minutes ago. Pay attention to those thoughts because you could have easily dismissed that, Drea. Pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that come to your mind as they are answered prayers. Pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that come to your mind as they are your answered prayers. That is just confirmation for Drea that there's no need to fear the shadows, because the light is within her and she illuminates. And as she begins to dive in and to really focus, I don't want to say focus on, but shed light on those shadows, she can begin to see, oh wait, now that I have some light on it, look, we've got a little fracture. Let me come in and fix it up. Look, we've got a tear. Let me come in and sew it up over here. We've got such and such. Let me put my hands on it and heal it with love. And in doing so, I can now begin to, as opposed to separating those things from me, I can now begin to integrate them in my life. That is like, oh, that is so therapeutic. I don't even know what other word to use. That is so stinking amazing. That marriage card, that is literally the first time I've ever gotten this card out of this deck. So that just really, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, I feel like if I don't stop now, we honestly might be here all day long. So again, the big message from today, you're a new person. Say goodbye to the old. Say hello to the new. You've finished one part of your life, and a new part, an even better part is now beginning. That old debt has paid off. The old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. The old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. And I just, again, I want to clarify, for somebody this is going to be financially, for others, I think for most people this is going to be karmically, and this is also going to be dealing with as you lift those thoughts of lack. Because again, it's not only saying the weight of debt, but it's also saying the habit of debt. And when we hear that it's a habit of debt, that means that debt, that lack, it came from us. It wasn't that my boss didn't give me any hours, that I didn't get the job that I really wanted. That habit was self-induced, and you manifested the debt here on earth, okay? So as we let go of those thoughts, of those feelings, those things that no longer serve us, and we begin to move forward, then we find the old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. And then finally, again, working with children and knowing that your path is illuminated. And I got to come back to this card. I'm sorry, guys. And then I swear we'll be done for real. But in particular, this travel card, like Drea said, the light comes from within. So this reading has been really awesome today. This reading has been really awesome today in so many ways. Drea, I'm right there with you. I completely agree. It's serving some confirmation for me too, because literally part of the reason why when I started this morning, I said I've been having trouble sleeping past a certain hour, no matter what time I go to bed. And a lot of that is because my mind is so focused on my business and what it is that I'm doing and what I'm learning and where I'm headed next. And one of the big questions when I was literally laying there this morning, I was like, okay, so, all right, God, you've given me lots of ideas. I've been paying attention to the thoughts and ideas. You're showing me some new things. This is so far beyond what I ever thought that I would ever do, but I'm like, I told my husband, I'm like, I don't really know where it's going to end up, but I have comfort. I have peace. I have faith that as I keep chugging a lug and moving forward, that it's going to manifest. It's going to take hold. And I'm seeing where opportunities are coming. And they're honestly, guys, they're coming from the places that I said I would never. Like, I don't want to work with that person. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I literally walked out after my small group coaching session the other day that I was co-coaching with this person. And I told my husband, I was like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. But my whole point wasn't so much that I was so good at it as much as like the energy was really flowing. I was able to speak spiritually to this nutrition group and they were vibing it. But what surprised me was the way that it came about. I would have never expected it to come about in that manner. So really, again, guys, I just say, make sure that you are trusting and you are following your own intuition, your own divinely guided intuition. Look at that. She is illuminated. Not only is it coming from her, but she's got the wand. She's got the fire stick. She's the one lighting the path. She is in complete control. The other thing I like is look at the reins in the what is that? An elk? A reindeer? I don't know. We're gonna call it an elk. But look at the reins in its mouth. Those are like flowers. So she really doesn't even have to really hold on tight. She doesn't need a tight grip for control, right? This is like a leisure ride through the valley up to the mountain, Wow. And here's the other thing I noticed about this. Look at this in the background. It's almost like when I look at this card, like maybe she's getting ready to go through her shadow area, go through the shadows, but she's fearless. She actually looks happy. Sorry, she's kind of like, hey, y'all. And it's not like she's strapped in. She's not wearing armor. She's got a dress on. She's got flowers in her lap. She's about to go ride through the shadows off to the light. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. I told you guys I'm learning to be sensitive to the Spirit. I've been wanting to end like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, Sharita, don't overdo it. But I see as I keep going, there are things that are being revealed. So really what I take from this card in particular is that this travel, again, it's summertime. Somebody may actually be going somewhere. Oh my God. Okay. Where's that card? An upcoming trip proves to be life-changing in positive ways. I really believe this upcoming trip is into your shadows. Okay, there's one card I'm looking for. Speak to me. We've been getting this card quite a bit too. Nematona. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So, I want to say that to say this. If you want, maybe you want to do, somebody who's watching this wants to do their shadow work. They want to go in, they want to confront the fears, they want to heal the anger, they want to heal the pain, heal the resentment. They want to figure out what it is that's holding them from taking the next step forward or the leap of faith, right? And maybe you're a little nervous, maybe you're a little scared. I'll be honest, when I first started working within my shadows, I was excited on one hand because I was like, let's figure out what the hell this is so I can get rid of this shit. But on the flip side of the coin, I was really scared because I was like, what am I going to find down there? Am I going to find that really, I'm a terrible person and, I don't deserve what I have? Am I going to find that, really I'm not smart? Or, am I going to find that, dang, Sharita, you just can't get your shit together. You keep making all these stupid decisions. Like, what am I going to find? And what I realized when I did this is when I first tried to do it, I kept going down there when I was depleted. When I say down there, I mean down to my shadows, when I was depleted. So meaning when I was in that position where I was like, oh my God, I'm at my wit's end. What do I do? Oh, let me go see what I can figure out. And then I try and go do shadow work from a broken, defeated mindset. And you can't take broken defeat into the shadows and expect to come out with light. You can't take two negatives and expect to rub them together and get a positive. You know what I'm saying? You don't mix water with water and expect to get fire. So what I had to do was I learned I had to really kind of meditate first. And I had to go to my sacred place and I had to just receive love. I called on my guides. I called on my goddess. I called on God. I called on Jesus. Quit playing. I need unconditional love. Fill me with your unconditional love. And when I would literally visualize like all this love and this energy coming at my heart chakra. And I would imagine like, the picture of a heart and the levels just rising. I know it sounds cheesy, but the more and more love that I felt, and then I would just sit with that love. I would just sit with it, appreciate it, feel it. And then for me, you do what works for you. For me, it helped to then turn around and send it back out. Right? But in doing so, I also had to send that love that I received from God, from my goddesses, from Jesus, from my angels, and pour it into myself. So one of the meditations that I used was, for example, imagining that I'm walking into this chamber, right? And I do this meditation with the goddess Isis. And as I walk into this temple, essentially, walk into the first chamber. And the first chamber is kind of like the outer room. And in that chamber, that's where like I connect with myself and I start to fill myself with love as much as I can. But in doing so, Isis hands me this this vial, or it's like a little vial of rose quartz, right? And it, filled with that rose quartz, she has filled it with unconditional love. And then once I'm ready and I feel full of love and I've got my vial of love in my hand, I walk into that deeper chamber. And with that deeper chamber, because I'm filled with love and light, I can begin to illuminate some of the hurts and pains, and I could start to see. And then as I got further along in my shadow work, I would go into the next chamber, which was even deeper yet. And it was even darker yet. You know what I'm saying? But again, I was able to begin to shed light. And anytime I felt like something, maybe I didn't have enough love to give this hurt or this pain within this shadow, I always had this never-ending vial of love from Isis. So I could always, no matter what, I could pour love on it. So I say all that to say, go to your sacred space. Go to your heart. Receive love. Do what you need to do. Fill up that light. Go get some daggone butane. Something. Don't get butane. But you know what I'm trying to say. Fill up that light, right? Fill up that love and light. And then you can move through your shadows. You can go down through the valley and make your way to heaven. All right? Heaven and hell are within us. It's a matter of where you choose to dwell. All right? So I think that is literally pretty much all I have to say today. I think that was it. I honestly thought, I was like, I'm going to get started early we're gonna be done by like 8:15. But it's all right. I'm glad I was able to get started early, and I'm glad I was able to let the energy move. This has been like a real blessing to me. Treya, I hope it's been a blessing to you. Javon, I hope you get a chance to come back and finish the video, and anyone else who sees this and into YouTube. I hope this is a blessing to y'all as well. This has been absolutely amazing. Yeah, there's really not much else I have to say to that. Again, I think we just want to focus on goodbye to the old, hello to the new. Realizing that things have changed. We're not who we were, and things aren't going to work out the way that they did in the past. They're not going to fail like they did in the past. Things are moving on the up and up. Stay in with your sacred place. Hit those shadows. And again, once you hit those shadows and you illuminate and you heal them with love, you begin to integrate all of you, all of yourself. All right. I love you lots, y'all. Let's social it up one more time. I'm thirsty. You know me, I get to chitty chatting. So I'm really excited. One last thing to announce that I am currently working on some new office space, and I'm also working on some new studio space. And if I can work it out and everything works out right, it'll be in the same place. But I'm excited because we'll be able to broadcast from different locations, different backgrounds, and kind of switch things up and different energy and what have you. So I'm really, really excited. Fingers crossed we can get that launched in the next few weeks. And we'll go from there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you so much. Drea, I really appreciate you interacting with me today, because I think this, we were meant to be on the same page. Well, you and I were typically on the same page, but we were definitely on the same vibe on today's reading, and just some realizations and seeing how things are coming together. And really, thank you so much for sharing those new opportunities between, you know, the restructuring in your commission, and also with the gel polish. Please, please, please keep us posted. And so I'm excited to see where we go from here, guys. And really, I don't know, I want to talk more about shadow work, because I know that that's where my life purpose, I'm realizing that my life purpose is into working with people and doing shadow work, but also because I think it's interesting as we have our own areas of growth, that when we can kind of share and talk with each other, we learn from each other. And also, it also kind of helps us to feel like, oh, good, I'm not the weirdo. Like, we're all weirdos together. In this case, hashtag goddess life. But I love you lots. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. And I will see you back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. I don't know if it'll be the same time or what. We're just going to let the energy flow. But have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.